guys, and welcome back to the Artemis Game channel. As you'll no doubt notice, I've been relegated out of my woman cave to the kitchen, so all my lovely background and backdrop is gone. You have a lovely green wall to stare at. But yeah, it turns out children need their own rooms, who knew? Anyway, today we're doing another tutorial for a how-to for The Sims 4, and today we're going to be looking at the Not So Berry challenge. So this is based on a challenge called the Very Berry Legacy Challenge, which I actually hadn't heard of before. It's a simpler version of the Very Berry challenge. So the point of this challenge is to mess around with aspects of The Sims 4 that you might have not played before. Every single generation has different aspirations and different traits. In a nutshell, it's a 10 generation legacy with emphasis on bright colours. Now this challenge was created by Little Simsy and Always Simming. I will leave the Tumblr post in the description below because this is really me summarising what they've already said on that post. So if you have any other questions or if I haven't quite explained something the way that you understand it, go and have a look there. And let's dive in with the basic rules. So each heir must be a certain colour per generation. We're going to get onto those colours and what they mean later, but you can mess with every single different aspect of them. So like their hair, their makeup, their clothing, their accessories, everything like that. Brightly coloured skin is not necessary because they're not actually berries. It's up to you what you do with your sim and how you style them. Spouses aren't a part of the challenge, so they don't count. They can be whatever colour or styled however you want. Unless it's otherwise stated in the rules, you can do pretty much whatever you want with the spouses. So this one's quite contentious for me. The next rule says you can use money cheats within reason. It says not excessively, but that's quite subjective, so that's up to you. However, the Tumblr post does suggest just using the free real estate cheat and then don't cheat afterwards. You can live wherever you want unless the rules state otherwise. And while this legacy challenge isn't necessarily scored, every generation is supposed to complete both the career and aspiration of the heir unless it's stated otherwise, the heir being the character you're playing with in that generation. And the lifespans need to be kept on normal length. If you are playing this challenge, then you are recommended to share it using the hashtag NotSoBerry. So with the basic rules out the way, we're going to get into the thick of it, and we're going to start with the first generation, which is mint. So according to the Tumblr, you are a mischievous scientist who loves the colour mint. You are career driven, but you do have a funny side and you like pranks. You love luxury and you want the best for your friends and family. Your aspiration for the mint generation is going to be Chief of Mischief, and your traits have to be vegetarian, jealous and materialistic. Your career has to be scientist. The rules for the mint generation are that you must master the scientist career and you must complete the Chief of Mischief aspiration. You need to master mischief and logic skills, and you need to complete the elements collection. Moving swiftly on to our second generation, the Rose generation. You are a complete workaholic. You had everything you wanted as a child, so you might be a little bit spoiled. You have a really hard time committing to relationships because you're so focused on your career. You've got no parental instinct, but you still really like kids. Your aspiration for the Rose generation is serial romantic, and your traits are hot-headed, a snob and romantic. You're going to have a politician's career for this generation, and the rules are as follows. You're going to have one child. You need to master the politician career and complete the serial romantic aspiration. You need to master the charisma skill. You need to leave someone at the altar, which is actually available during the wedding. Did not know that. And you need to get married for the first time as an elder. That sounds like a really fun one to play. Generation 3 is the yellow generation. You weren't close to your parents growing up. All you cared about was space. You love space. So your aspiration for the yellow generation is nerd brain, and the traits that go along with that are a clumsy, ambitious loner. As previously stated, your career will be an astronaut, and the rules for this generation are that you must master rocket science and the handiness skill. You must master the astronaut career and complete the nerd brain aspiration. You must build a rocket ship and visit Sixam, and you must enter the secret lot in Oasis Springs. There are tutorials for how to do that online, however I have never done that before, so I cannot help you. And finally, never have any close friends or relationships other than grandparents from generation 1 until the grandparents die. Generation 4 is the grey generation. This sim always felt a little bit different. While the generation before them was an astronaut that thought of space, this generation doesn't care for that. They're a lot more athletic and sporty. Your aspiration for the grey generation is a bodybuilder, and they are going to be an active slob music lover for their traits, and they're going to have the athletic career. The rules for this generation are that you must master singing, parenting and the athletic skill. You need to master the athlete career and complete bodybuilding aspirations, and you need to have 3 failed relationships before you find the one which you can marry, and they must also have the neat trait. You need to be good friends with all of your children, and you need to have a family movie night with your spouse and children every Sunday. Gosh, that sounds like a really difficult one. Generation 5 is Plumb. You've always been good at everything, so you want to continue being good at everything. Basically, you're an indecisive oddball. The aspiration for the Plumb generation is a Renaissance sim. You need to be genius, non-committal, and a dance machine. So I realised when I was creating this that you need to have some certain packs, and just having plain old boring vanilla Sims 4 is not good enough. So the whole point of this challenge is that you experience something different each time. You don't have to rigorously stick to it because, like I said, it's not necessarily scored. However, if you don't have dance machine because you didn't have going out pack or whatever it was, pick a different trait that's not on any of your other Sims and just kind of see how it goes with that. But if you do this, be prepared that you might have to tweak some of the rules for each generation. The rules for this generation are to master dance and 2 other skills of your choosing. You need to complete the Renaissance Sim aspiration, you need to get divorced and then later remarried to the same Sim, and you must live in at least 3 different worlds over the course of your life. Generation 6 is the Orange generation. This is the black sheep generation. Non-surprisingly, because of the Plum generation, this has left the Orange generation quite all over the place, having been raised in a very hectic household. You just always want to cause mayhem, but you're pretty bad at being evil. Your aspirations for the Orange generation are public enemy, and your traits are evil, self-assured, and glutton. Of course, you're going to have a career in the criminal track, and the rules for this generation are that you need to master baking and the charisma skill. You must master the criminal career and complete the public enemy aspiration. You must live in a needs TLC apartment for the entire young adult life. You must have twins, but only these 2 children, and you can cheat for this. You must insist on being evil and even claim to be a criminal mastermind. Generation 7 is the Pink generation. You work 9 to 5, living paycheck to paycheck, and you've got big writing aspirations. However, you don't have the guts to quit your job. Until you do. You're a hopeless romantic but rubbish at flirting, which makes it incredibly hard to find love. Your aspiration for the Pink generation are that you want to be a best-selling author, and your traits are that you are neat, unflirty, and creative, and you need to have a career in the business track. The rules for this generation state that you need to complete the postcard collection, master the writing and wellness skills, complete the best-selling author aspiration, have a well-maintained garden, and quit your day job as an adult to pursue your dreams. Generation 8 is Peach. If you have the base game like me, I could not find anything for Peach, especially not for men, so I ended up making this sim non-binary. More power to you if you're in my boat. The Peach generation was always told to follow their dreams, and they had to. They wanted to be a comedian and they also wanted to be a detective. So sod it, they'll do both. Their aspiration is to become a joke star, and their traits are foodie, lazy, and goofball. The rules for Generation Peach are that they must marry a co-worker, they must play an instrument, they must master the gourmet cooking and comedy skills, and they must master the detective career. They also must live in a different world to the one where they were raised. Generation 9 is the Green generation. In this generation, you are a tech guru who is very in love with their work. However, they do still like to go out and have a good time. You're the kind of person that I love, which is you party until 3 o'clock in the morning, even though you have to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. Aspirations for the Green generation are computer whiz, and the traits are squeamish, geek, and cheerful. And obviously, you need to follow the tech guru career path. The rules for this generation are master mixology, video game and programming skills, master the tech guru career, and complete computer whiz aspiration. You must accept every invitation to parties and outings with your friends, every single one. And you must have at least 5 good friends and 5 enemies. Finally, we have the Blue generation. You have the perfect life, and you went from being the desperate housewife or house husband with the white picket fence to having that naughty affair. Riddled with regret and guilt, you decide to never tell anyone of your scandalous affair and put all of your energy in fixing your marriage and raising your children. You're going to be a super parent, which coincidentally is the aspiration for the final generation, Blue. To go along with the super parent aspiration, you also need the traits gloomy, perfectionist, and family orientated. And the career path that you're going to follow is the critic. The rules for this generation are that you must adopt at least 1 child, master the photography, cooking, and parenting skill, master the critic career, and complete the super parent aspiration. You must marry high school sweethearts and stay with them until you die, and you can have a one-time secret affair. That one sounds pretty cool. So in a nutshell, the Not So Berry Challenge is an opportunity to play around with the Sims a little bit, to experience maybe some aspirations or traits that you hadn't in the past, and also to do it with loads of fun and exciting colours. Each generation is a different colour, a different aspiration, and has different traits. Like I said, don't worry too much if you haven't got all the packs or if you've got some aspirations or traits missing. The point of this is that every generation has to be different. So as long as they're different from the ones that you've already played and the ones that you're going to play, then it's fine. And it gives you a fun opportunity to mess around with people's backstories and rules for the generation as well. I think this would be a really fun one to do, so let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd want want to see. But I wish you luck. Let me know if this video was helpful. Give it a like and a share because that helps me in the algorithm. And let me know which generation was the most fun. I think Rose would be the most fun. Anyway, let me know how you get on and if you want to see any more how-to Sims 4 challenges. If you haven't already seen them, I've done the Legacy Challenge and the 100 Baby Challenge already, so get yourself over to the channel. And I'll catch you next time. Toodaloo!